today we have a game called Sage Fusion. It's a role-playing game visual novel hybrid, from what I understand. To increase the effectiveness of your attack and break the enemy's defend, watch the shield icon that appears on the target as you attack. Click anywhere on the screen before the attack hits. Don't click on the screen right away. The closer you click on the screen to the moment the attack hits the enemy, the more effective your attack will be. However, if the attack hits before you get to click, the icon will disappear. Enemy will successfully defend your attack, so don't wait too long either. That reminds me of Legend of Dragoon. There was a role-playing game and you'd execute an attack, but then there was a timing element where you could initiate combos. I remember that being a thing. What is this guy suddenly spouting? Come, dear sisters, your God loveth you. I don't know why I gave him a voice, but I gave him a voice. Let my sword cleanse you of your evil, so that he may receive you. Oh, Pat. I see yet another lost soul. Give thyself to God, brother, and he can grant thee salvation. Got him. Phew, looks like we managed to win somehow. Alright, V, now go do your job and install that bug. V must be the new recruit. I don't get it. Isn't it ironic to infiltrate what people call the House of God that's supposed to be a peaceful place, as if it were an enemy base? This is very, very strange. Not as ironic as the fact that some of the worst people of the Galactic Union are important people in Neo-Vatican. Of course. Is it this reminds me of a point-and-click adventure right now? I knew the hook and hose would be useful. There we go. Ah, there comes somebody. Good using his ring. Let's see. 5, 4, 6, 3. Okay. 5, 4, 6, 3. Should be a good place any to install the bug. Okay. There we go. Done. So we're going to go out the window. Awesome. Oh, bit of a little scene here. That's cool. Okay. So what we just played for the last half an hour was the intro, which I think is pretty surprising. That's very impressive. I see, but why do you need a personal bodyguard anyway? Aren't the guards from the Galactic Force everywhere these days? Not where I go, they aren't. So he's a kind of a Han Solo-ish type character, maybe? The Sage Fusion may not be a huge warship like what the Galactic Army has, but she's no ordinary cargo ship either. Ah, now we have the name of the title of the game. It's the name of the ship, you know, like the Firefly or something. It's people's obsession with robots anyway. Sure, they're convenient, but at what price? People ended up becoming dumb creatures that can't think for the life of them. That's an interesting statement. You want coffee? Oh, there's a bot for that. You want to know which way is Planet Tarnus? There's a bot for that. God, I hate robots. Maybe I should be grateful that nowadays cyborgs, androids, and anything bipedal is illegal, because the church declared them profane after the war. I gotta say, I'm very intrigued already with the setting. Marlon, what was that thing you said? Something about a circle? Circle of interplanetary traders, or the Circle, as it's called by the members. The elite, called by everyone else. It's an alliance of merchants consider themselves better than other merchants. Galaxy is governed as a democratic republic, which adopts religious law as legal law, whose economy is driven almost completely by capitalism. Democracy, religion, capitalism. In the corners of this triangle stand the Union, the Church, and the Circle, but there exists no trust. Among this triumvirate, it's a mess. Citizens are also losing trust to the Union and to each other. It's hard to maintain cooperation that way. The current societal pressures are inadequate. Our society won't hold much longer with the current situation. We must reform the institution. As it is now, democracy is but a game for those who can vote with credits. Thus ended the annual economic review with a closing speech by Mr. President Gassendi. And yet another fact, people who directly benefit from the mining of these crystals are mostly those within the Circle, which represent less than 1% of the entire population of nations united under the banner of Galactic Union. Meanwhile, nowhere in Mr. Gassendi's speech did he address the issue of unemployment. Doesn't it seem ironic to you that GDP can increase while at the same time unemployment rate does too? For example, what's become of those former workers in asteroid N113 who lost their jobs after robots were brought in to mine the crystals? Mr. Gassendi also spent no time at all to talk about the alarming rate of inflation. The increased income, normally one wouldn't have to worry so much about inflation. Unfortunately, as we learn now, the increased income is only enjoyed by a minority. The rest of us, price is getting more unbearable. Grandfather was in the circle. Yeah, he was quite influential then, but in the end he quit. It's around that time he started to change. He isn't the patient guy he was anymore. They call themselves Citizen Crusade. They walk around electronic stores in search of profane goods. When they find one, they destroy it in public. Is this even legal? Of course not. They don't give a damn about that. Neither do the City Watch and the church. After all, profane is bad, right? Hey, leave that poor thing alone. That blasted thing is profane. We shall eradicate all that is not proper. And here we are, into the inner globe. This reminds me of a number of different movies. If you wonder what that noise you hear, it's an air circulator. As you can tell by the smell, it does not work so well. I called it! Don't remember when they last do maintenance on the air circulator. Oh man, are they going to run out of air? In the name of God, stop this fight at once. You are not to continue this fight. Leave in peace, go back whence you came. The slum dwellers, the thugs, the punks, the goons, what have you, actually a religious bunch. But religion to them is something more of a gateway, a destination for people to escape harsh reality. I mean, economy's awful, people are oppressed. Where else do they complain if not to their deity? That can't be right. If they truly worship God, they wouldn't be criminals. Well, unfortunately for them, worshiping God doesn't put food on their tables. Robbing people kind of does. Okay, so Sage Fusion is an interesting combination of, they say visual novel and role-playing game, but there's also kind of a point-and-click adventure feel to it. Also, I think the writing for this game is very well done. The characters are interesting. Most of them seem to have backstories, and we're starting to learn those. All the worlds seem like we've seen them kind of before in other places, but they fit well together here. Then there's this overlay of kind of some of the societal and technological and ethical issues that we're starting to deal with today IRL, right? Like, that's kind of woven into the mix of this. Very cool game. I really highly suggest you check it out. Sage Fusion.